You're not lazy. You're not undisciplined. You're not too late. You're grieving and no one told you that's what this is. You poured yourself into a channel, a project, a dream, and now it just sits there, half finished, forgotten, or worse, fully published, but fully ignored. Most creator advice jumps to productivity hacks or niche strategies. But if you're emotionally stuck, a new camera won't save you because what you're facing isn't a creative block. It's a healing block. I've coached creators through burnout, ghost channels, and identity crashes. And I spent 4 years trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. What finally got me moving wasn't discipline. It was understanding why I stopped in the first place. So in this video, we're not talking trends. We're talking truth. The real emotional reasons creators like you get stuck and how to finally move forward without burning out or betraying yourself. If you've ever whispered, "What's the point?" after uploading your 30th video, then yeah, this one's for you. Let's start where most videos don't, with the content you never finished and the creator you're grieving. Section 1, content grief. Some of us aren't just stuck, we're grieving. Not everyone will understand that because on the outside, it looks like you just stopped posting. But on the inside, you were mourning something. Maybe it was a channel you launched with your whole chest. You had the vision, you made the logo, you filmed 5 videos and said, "This time it's different." And then life hit, or the views didn't come, or you just couldn't carry the weight of pretending to be on anymore. We rarely talk about content grief, the quiet heartbreak of walking away from something you loved because it didn't love you back loud enough. You didn't quit, you lost something, and your body remembers that. Grief has layers. It shows up as shame when people ask if you're still making videos. It shows up as guilt when you scroll past your own YouTube banner. It shows up as jealousy when someone else does what you abandoned. But here's the truth. You were never broken. You were hurt, and hurt needs a process, not productivity. Before you plan your comeback, let's honor what actually ended, because you can't resurrect a version of you that no longer fits. Pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what part of my creator self am I still grieving? What did I love about that version of me, even if it didn't perform? You might think your grief is personal, but a lot of what you're feeling was also engineered. Because what happens when you give everything to the platform and it ghosts you? Section 2, the algorithmic betrayal loop. You didn't fail, you got ghosted by the algorithm, you followed the advice, optimized your title, sharpened your hook, posted at the perfect time, and then crickets. And what makes it worse? The silence feels intentional, like you showed up for a date, but the algorithm just didn't. The first time it hurts. The 5th time you question your worth. By the 10th, you start shrinking your ideas before they even leave your notes app. Because why risk more silence? Most creators blame themselves. But here's the twist. You were set up to feel disposable by a system that rewards noise, not nuance. You trusted the algorithm to be your feedback loop. And when it didn't respond, it didn't just hurt your numbers, it broke your trust. So here's the shift. Stop using the algorithm as a mirror. It was never designed to reflect your value, only your velocity. Let the work be your witness. Let your growth be your proof. Let your people, not a pattern of pixels, decide if it matters. Reflection. Checkpoint. Where did I start tying my worth to platform performance? What would I create if no algorithm could see it? Even when no one sees your work, it's still out there. And that can lead to a different kind of shame. Let's talk about the stuff we post. That still haunts us. Let's talk about something no one admits. That silent sinking feeling when you realize, oh God, that video's still up. Maybe it was a sketch you outgrew, a vlog that flopped, a tutorial where your lighting was trash and your voice was shaky. It got 12 views, and yet somehow you feel exposed, like the whole world saw you try. This isn't just about numbers. This is about dignity, about putting your heart on the line and feeling like you weren't even worth a rejection letter. No views, no feedback, no closure. just a timestamp on a memory you can't delete emotionally. Digital embarrassment is real, and it's especially cruel because it's quiet. There's no crowd to comfort you, no friend to say, hey, you were brave for even posting, just you, and that little thumbnail of a version of you who tried. But what if you're not supposed to be proud of that video? What if you're just supposed to be proud you posted it? Not because it was good, but because you were still becoming, and that version of you had guts. You're allowed to outgrow your own content. That doesn't make it cringe. That makes it a timestamp of your courage. We don't cringe at old baby photos. We call it growth. So why do we hate our digital first drafts? Pause and reflect. What video or idea am I still embarrassed by, but maybe shouldn't be? What did that version of me teach the version I am today? Now let's go deeper, because for a lot of us, that shame turned into strategy. We stopped posting raw stuff. We started over-planning, and we called it being intentional. But really, we were just hiding behind the word strategy. Section 4, perfectionism masquerading as strategy. Let's be honest, some of us didn't get more strategic. We just got more scared and gave that fear a clever name. I'm just refining my niche. I'm just building systems before I relaunch. I'm not ready to post again until I fix the lighting, script, title, thumbnail, timing, voice, audience, and maybe my entire personality. This isn't strategy, it's fear in a suit, and we respect it because it sounds smart. But underneath the color-coded notion boards and niche hopping is someone terrified of being misunderstood again. I've been there. You overthink until the thing you once loved now feels heavy. You delay posting not because you're lazy, but because you're exhausted by the pressure to be amazing. And when people say, just post, it lands like a slap because deep down, you've already tried and you're not sure you can handle another flop. This is what I call success sabotage disguised as strategy. It's perfectionism hiding behind planning. And the more you plan, the less you post. But here's the truth. Strategy without motion is just theater. You don't get clarity from planning. You get it from moving. Messy videos, awkward uploads, imperfect attempts. That's what builds momentum. What if your strategy isn't too weak? It's too perfect to breathe. What would happen if you gave yourself permission to post something that's 70% baked just to feel creative again? Pause and reflect. Where have I been calling fear strategy? What would it look like to take one imperfect action this week? But wait, what if the real issue isn't fear or shame? What if you're stuck because you were told to start with clarity and no one told you it's okay to find it along the way? That's next. Section 5, the myth of starting with clarity. Start with your niche, pick your person, build your brand, post with purpose. Sounds like solid advice, right? Except, what if that advice is quietly crushing creators before they ever begin? The internet made it sound like you're supposed to show up to YouTube knowing who you are, who you serve, and what you sell. But for many of us, especially small creators, clarity isn't a starting point, it's a destination. You don't walk into a kitchen for the first time and expect to bake a 5-layer cake without cracking a few burnt pancakes first. So why do we expect our first 10 or 50 videos to reflect a fully formed brand? I didn't find my voice through planning. I found it by posting, stumbling, listening, adjusting, surviving. When I returned to YouTube, I still didn't have it all figured out. But this time, I gave myself permission to find clarity in public, to let people watch me evolve, not arrive. And guess what? People respected the process more than the Polish. Clarity is not the prerequisite. Curiosity is. You don't need a master plan. You need a starting pulse, something worth exploring, even if it's messy. Quiz. Find your starting pulse. Self-identify with the following: the curious coach. I love teaching what I know, even if I'm still learning it. The loud learner. I want to take people along for the ride as I figure it out. The quiet builder. I'd rather test and tinker behind the scenes than share what worked. Comment below which one feels like you right now, And remember, you can switch lanes as you grow. So no, you're not lost. You're just looking for clarity in a place that only rewards certainty. But what if part of your resistance isn't about clarity, but about trauma, creative trauma, from going viral too soon or failing way too hard, from pressure that wasn't kind, from being seen when you weren't ready or being ignored when you were? That's not confusion, that's creative PTSD, and we need to talk about it next. There's a pain that most creators don't have words for because it doesn't look like failure. It looks like silence, or worse, attention we weren't ready for. I call it creative PTSD, the hidden trauma that follows you into every upload. Maybe your video went viral before you had a system, a strategy, or a strong sense of self. Suddenly you had eyes on you, but no idea what to say next. Or maybe it flopped so hard that you started flinching every time you hit publish. Now, you're not stuck, you're scared. And because no one called it trauma, you didn't think you were allowed to heal. I've had that moment, staring at the publish button with sweaty palms, not because the video was bad, but because I remembered what happened the last time I believed in something. The crash from caring too much and getting too little back. It doesn't just disappoint you, it scars you. If you've hesitated to post again, not because you're lazy, but because you're wounded, I want you to hear me clearly. You're not behind, you're healing. And that healing deserves space, patience, and new strategies that don't treat you like a machine. Let's pause right here. If you've ever deleted a video before posting because of panic, ghosted your channel for months without knowing why, felt physical dread at the thought of starting over, then this isn't just content fatigue, it's creative PTSD, and it deserves a softer re-entry, not a louder push. The re-entry ritual: 1, the quiet restart. Post something small, raw, or unpolished on purpose. 2, the witness check. Send it privately to one trusted creator or friend first. 3, the reflection window. Instead of asking, did it perform? Ask, did it feel like me? You didn't come this far to stay stuck in fear, and you don't need to go viral to be valuable. What you need now is realignment. Let me walk you through that. The realignment loop and how to start over without shame. If you've made it this far in the video, you're not just a creator, you're a survivor of the modern content economy. You've grieved ideas, felt ghosted by algorithms, sat in silence, masked fear as perfectionism, blamed yourself for not being clearer, and maybe, just maybe, you've been walking around with creative PTSD without realizing it. But now you've got language for it, and more importantly, you've got leverage. The realignment loop. Every creator I admire didn't push through the chaos. They paused, recentered, and came back aligned. They stopped building on burnout, and they started creating from truth. Here's the loop you'll follow every time you drift off course. 1, pause the panic. Step back before you spiral into another strategy binge. 2, name the real block. Is it grief, embarrassment, fear, burnout? If you name it, you can navigate it. 3, reconnect with your why now, not your why in general, your why this week, your why today. 4, start again small. A voice memo, a 1-minute short, a message to your community. Your restart doesn't need applause, just movement. I want you to do something bold, but private. In the comments, finish this sentence. I'm not starting from scratch. I'm starting from fill in the blank with your truth. Let's show each other what real creative alignment sounds like. Download your creator compass. If you want to keep moving through this process in a way that honors your energy, download the free Stuck Creator Survival Guide below. It's your printable compass with space for reflection, journaling, and creative triage. It's not just for today, it's for every moment you forget who you are. You're not broken, you're not behind, and you're definitely not alone. This video, it wasn't a strategy drop, it was a soft place to land. And if that's what you've been needing, subscribe. Because next week we're talking about how to rebuild your channel from the inside out. No trends, no templates, just truth. Subscribe, like, reclaim your creative momentum.